feet over broken glass. Whoa, okay. So I have a feeling it might either be like scarecrows or dead bodies.
I start my poetry unit having my students look at The Hollow Men by T.S. Eliot. I don't tell them anything about the poem, and I make them put their devices away because I want them to engage with it themselves.
No, it actually describes it. You can like the stuffed men part, and then the head piece filled with straw. Or like we are hollow men, but stuffed men. So we like don't have a soul, but we're stuffed.
And then those who have crossed with direct eyes could be like him watching everyone pass by.
Yeah. And then there's like a literal meaning and like a.
But what about the second paragraph? Like the shape without form, shade without color, paralyzed force, gesture without motion? Like, does that lean towards scarecrow?
Like,
to me, it's
gestures, like scares them away without moving.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's a person that's dead inside. Because, like, from the surface, I know, because they say we are hollow men. Yeah. That is true. I'm not sure.
To think deeper when going into like a poem. So from the surface, it could seem like a scarecrow, but then like.
But they say like this is like dead man.
The inquiry and critical thinking skills we've been practicing all year prepares them to engage with the text and with each other.
A scarecrow, but up there it says a poem. If you think deeper into it, it'll end up having
A deeper meaning.
yeah. So it could just be like.
Because it says are raised, here they receive.
Okay, so
I don't know.
My students are used to using evidence to support their reasoning, but perhaps even more importantly, they have confidence in their collective ability as learners to figure this out.
yeah, look at that. GR.
Hey, where does it say that?
Although I don't tell them this at the time, they're dealing with a poem from the Literature 12 textbook, something far above what grade 8s would normally be asked to analyze and interpret.
Yeah, and Death's Dream Kingdom.
I think when they talk about Death's Kingdom, we're talking about religion. Because in section 3 it says form prayers to
Oh, yeah. Yeah, like it has like a really big part for slavery, I'm guessing. Because like this person must have escaped the cellar and like had to like disguise themselves with like the
The point isn't for them to come up with the critically accepted interpretation of this poem, but rather to realize that even without any other knowledge of what's going on in the poem and at the time that the author is writing, they can still engage with it.
How would we say that?
Students use their experiences and knowledge to make meaning of the poem. This particular group has recently finished reading The Boy in the Striped Pajamas by John Boyne, and they see a connection between the poem and the Holocaust.
What if this is from like the during the Black Death episode because like rat not getting food? Yeah, because he's the Reaper and he's saying that he's filled with straw.
It says Death's
Like-
Dream.
Death's Dream Kingdom. But it's saying that it's like a kingdom.
I think that's like describing hell or something.
After students have had a chance to analyze the poem with their groups, we share out. Then I give them some information about the time period in which Eliot was writing, and they re-examine their interpretations with that knowledge. In the end, they realize that although information about the context of the poem can deepen their understanding of it, they are able to make meaning without it. That realization makes poetry more accessible for my students, because they realize that as long as they can support their arguments with evidence from the poem, they don't have to worry about finding the right interpretation.